This is just a brief overview of TEAM-CBT because I've been asked a few times, what is that? So TEAM-CBT is an acronym. It was developed by Dr. David Burns, who is a best-selling author of Feeling Great, Feeling Good, When Panic Attacks, and several more books. This was developed as a structure on how to do therapy more effectively. David did a lot of research and wanted to find tools that would be the best help for his clients. And he didn't want to just create another school or modality. There's lots of great different tools all throughout therapy. But he wanted to see what was really working and when did it work and when didn't it. So that's how this developed. So T stands for testing, E for empathy, A for agenda setting or assessment of resistance, and M for methods. This framework or structure we follow for all of our clients. We do things, there's different tools that are better for depression, there's tools that are better for anxiety, for relationships, for habit addictions, and so those all fall into the methods. But the structure of doing therapy, we follow this structure of testing. We check in with our clients. Are we really understanding them? We do this by doing surveys before and after every session. We use other diagnostic testing tools as well. So it takes a very subjective field and helps give us real data to work from. So that's testing. E is empathy. There's a lot of modalities where we're using cognitive behavior therapy, and it's quite effective. And yet the research shows it's not as effective as one might expect. And David noticed that when you didn't have a real connection with the client, the methods would often fail. And so empathy is a big part of what we do. We really want to connect with our clients. We feel it's really important for the therapeutic relationship. And in fact, really good therapy cannot continue without that. And while empathy alone rarely cures anything, it is a fundamentally critical component. One of the things that we were like, well, yeah, but aren't all therapists empathetic? What we realize in TEAM is that a lot of therapists, in fact, most therapists, according to some research that's been done, aren't as in tune with their clients as they might think. And that's because we can't read minds. Yes, we can get body language and we can get a sense of where their client's coming from. Yes, that might be similar to other clients we've seen, but we can't truly understand what our client is going through because we don't live in their world. And so with TEAM-CBT, our focus on empathy is very in tune with the client and always asking the client if we've got it right and checking in with them. And we do that through the testing and also some of the ways we do empathy. We use the 5 secrets of effective communication, which I find extremely helpful as a person with symptoms of autism and having ADHD. That structure is very helpful for me to be able to really relate with my clients. So that's the empathy. It's a really important part, and we do not move forward without solid empathy. In fact, that connection is absolutely vital before we move forward with a client. The A, which stands for agenda setting in David's earlier materials, and he's since changed it to assessment of resistance because that's really what it's about. It's kind of like setting the agenda with the client by processing what they might be feeling and going through in a positive way. So instead of looking at our clients as what's wrong with them, we want to embrace what's right with them. And we don't see depression and anxiety as some kind of mental disorder, but rather an expression of some of the values our clients are having. For example, if a client is extremely anxious when their children go to school, it shows how much they care and love their children and they want to protect them. And this anxiety is coming from this deep place in their heart, this longing for their children to be safe in a world that isn't always safe. And we want to embrace that. So we use some tools to help our clients really bring to conscious awareness anything that might down the road cause resistance as we do work together. It's absolutely critical piece. And again, like empathy, we don't move forward until we have that piece. So you can see how this is structured. Must have the testing, must have a starting point, some data to work from. Then we have to have empathy. We have to have that deep, meaningful connection with our clients. And then we work through any resistance that might come up. And then lastly is M for methods. And here, any method that we find helpful for a client, we will use. There are psychodynamic techniques, there's CBT. Obviously, it's heavily a lot of CBT, a lot of cognitive awareness. But there are therapists who use mindfulness. I'm a faith-based practitioner, so I use prayer if clients are open to that. We work within whatever the client is comfortable with. And in many other tools. In fact, David himself has over 100, I think it was 123 last time I worked on them. I typically only have to use about 6 to 8 tools with my clients. Sometimes we'll use about 12 to 15. It kind of depends on their issue. But we go through and we want to fail as fast as we can. So TEAM is not only a structure, but it's a philosophy. We want to do what's right for the client, not what I like. So, there are a lot of people who love EMDR, they love DBT, ACT, and there are team therapists who practice all of those. But the difference is we want to figure out what works for the client, not what's my favorite tool. And I mean, all of us fall into this trap. I have a bias. I really love explaining the distortions, and it's one that we always do before we do other tools because I find it super helpful and it helps over 50% of my clients. So why would I give up a tool that works 50% of the time, right? But I need to not get stuck on that. And if it's not working for a client, then we move on and we try some other tools. Then there's obviously we'd use exposure, there's tools for OCD, response prevention, and so on and so forth. So that's a really quick overview of TEAM-CBT. It is both a structure, it's a way that we do therapy that is far more effective. In fact, just really limited, don't hold too much weight, but it's really early studies are showing that TEAM-CBT is about 10 times more effective than other therapies. So we're really excited about that research. There's ongoing research, of course. There is mainstream research as far as T for testing, about 2.5 times more effective for therapists of any modality. They're more effective if they use testing. So that's an extreme advantage just in T, 2.5% times, 2.5 times more effective just in testing. So you can imagine how much more effective when you can combine the best of what's working in therapy. So that's TEAM-CBT in a nutshell. If you'd like to learn more, feel free to pop me an email. Have a great day.